who's in leadership role or is trying to make creative problem solving, they desperately need all of this inner work and the resonance in order to operate correctly, correct?
Absolutely, Kathy. And one of the beautiful things of working with sound, and particularly when we work with our own creative sounds, we literally become our own therapist. We are empowered. For instance, if we're totally stressed and we are filled with anxiety, etc., and we'll talk about this in a minute, but if we even just start to hum, we can shift and change that frequency, and we are empowered to really be the one that is in control of our own lives, because obviously that is what it boils down to. And so it's interesting because several years ago, when we were anticipating writing another book together, and of course that ended up being The Humming Effect, and we have just been able to share so much of humming with people. And one of the reasons we chose to do this, and it ties in beautifully with what we've been talking about, is that people, we wanted to help people to understand what sound healing is all about.
And experience it, and experience it.
Yes,
and the big thing about experiencing sound is that so many people have great fear about making sound, making their own sound. It's one of the possibly top three, if not the number one thing, is like making sound in public. So we were looking, what is the one sound that everybody does? Nobody's got any judgment about it. And we looked at each other and we went,
because we knew that was going to be the gateway, the door to open for people to step into, to really begin to understand sound, but particularly their own sounds. And so that was what guided us to write The Humming Effect. And it was the award winner for Best Alternative Health Book of the Year.
And we found that on a level, the hum is an incredible gateway sound that once people get that, they are introduced into the field of sound healing because they experience it for themselves. So it's just been a real blessing. And the more we, as we were writing the book, delved into the phenomena of humming, the more extraordinary we found. Not only incredible physiological effects that Andy's going to tell you about in a second, but the fact that it has very deep spiritual roots, if you like. We talked about in the beginning was the word. Well, there's a book called the Yoga Sutras by a fellow by the name of Patanjali. It's written thousands of years ago. And Sutra 1.27 basically says, to paraphrase, the original sound of creation was pranava, the humming of prana. They had to give it a name, so they called it Om.
And so, as Jonathan was saying, we started really delving into the power of the hum, and I want to talk about the physiological benefits that really occur. But before I do that, I just want to mention that because humming, people go, humming, oh, everybody can hum, so what's the big deal? The first chapter of our book is nothing but peer-reviewed research that does give us indications of how important and powerful just humming can be. And I'd like to talk about what happens on a physiological level when we are simply humming. And of course, we call it conscious humming.